Hello friends, my name is Chaitanya. I am an advocate practicing at Kakinada, Andhra Pradesh. In my last lecture, I told you about charges and joinder of terms. In this lecture, I want to tell you about trial of criminal cases, trial before court of session, trial of warrant cases by magistrate, cases instituted otherwise than a police report. This lecture is about trial of criminal cases. First one is trial before court of session. Next one is trial of warrant cases by magistrate. And cases instituted otherwise than a police report. Coming to trial before court of session. Trial before court of session, sections 225 to 237. Trial before court of session, section 225 to 237. Trial before a court of session. District court is referred to as Sessions Court when it exercises its jurisdiction on criminal matters under Code of Criminal Procedure. The Sessions Court is responsible for deciding the matters related to criminal cases. Sessions Court has the power to impose the full range of penalties for criminal acts, including the death penalty. Section 193 deals with the cognizance of offences by courts of session. According to this section, no court of session shall take cognizance of any offence as a court of original jurisdiction unless the case has been committed to it by a magistrate under this code. Coming to opening case for prosecution. Trial before a court of session shall be conducted by a public prosecutor as per section 225. According to section 226, when the accused appears or is brought before the court in pursuance of a commitment of the case, the prosecutor shall open his case by describing the charge brought against the accused and stating by what evidence he proposes to prove the guilt of the accused. In a case, Fathur Ali versus CBI, 2000 Criminal Law Journal, page number 2182, it was held that when the prima facie material showing the involvement of the petitioner, driver of main accused, charged under section 302 and 144 of IPC for abetting offence, then the order framing charge cannot be squashed. This is the decision given in the case Fathur Ali versus CBI 2000. This is about opening case for prosecution. Coming to discharge of the accused. According to section 227, the sessions judge is bound to discharge the accused if he considered that there is no sufficient ground for proceeding against the accused. This is about discharge of the accused. Coming to framing of charge. The judge of the Court of Sessions can frame the charge. According to section 228, after consideration and hearing, if the judge is of opinion that there is ground for presuming that the accused has committed an offence which is not exclusively triable by the Court of Session, he may frame a charge against the accused and by order transfer the case for trial to the Chief Judicial Magistrate, and thereupon the Chief Judicial Magistrate shall try the offence in accordance with the procedure for the trial of warrant cases instituted on a police report. If it is exclusively triable by the court, he shall frame in writing a charge against the accused. Later, the charge shall be read and explained to the accused, and the accused shall be asked whether he pleads guilty of the offence charged or claims to be tried. In a case, R.S. Misra versus State of Orissa and others, AIR 2011, Supreme Court, page number 1103, it was held that while dropping or diluting charge under particular section, although accused is not discharged, court is expected to record the reasons. This is the decision given by the Supreme Court in the case R.S. Misra versus State of Orissa and others. This is about framing of charge. Coming to conviction on plea of guilty. According to section 229, if the accused pleads guilty, the judge shall record the plea and in his discretion may convict the accused. However, this discretion must be exercised with great care and caution. This section permits the accused to plead his guilty through his pleader also. This is about conviction on plea of guilty. Coming to date for prosecution evidence. According to section 230, if the accused refuses to plead or does not plead or claim to be tried or is not convicted under section 229, the judge shall fix a date for the examination of witnesses and may, on the application of the prosecution, issue any process for compelling the attendance of any witness or the production of any document or other thing. This is date for prosecution evidence. Coming to evidence for prosecution. According to section 231, on the date so fixed, the judge shall proceed to take all such evidence as may be produced in support of the prosecution. The judge may, in his discretion, permit the cross-examination of any witness to be deferred until any other witness or witnesses have been examined, or recall any witness for further cross-examination. This is evidence for prosecution. Coming to order of acquittal. According to section 232, if after taking the evidence for the prosecution, examining the accused and hearing the prosecution and the defense on the point, the judge considers that there is no evidence that the accused committed the offense, the judge shall record an order of acquittal. In a case, Hanif Banomia Shikalkar versus State of Maharashtra, 1981, Criminal Law Journal, case number 1622, it was held that the object of section 232 is to expedite the conclusion of the sessions trial and at the same time to avoid unnecessary harassment to the accused by calling upon him to adduce evidence or to avoid the waste of public time when there is no evidence at all. This is the decision given in the case Hanif Banomia Shikalkar versus State of Maharashtra, 1981. This is about order of acquittal. Coming to evidence for defense. According to section 233, where the accused is not acquitted under section 232, he shall be called upon to enter on his defense and adduce any evidence he may have in support thereof. If the accused puts in any written statement, the judge shall file it with the record. If the accused applies for the issue of any process for compelling the attendance of any witness or the production of any document or thing, the judge shall issue such process unless he considers for reasons to be recorded that such application should be refused on the ground that it is made for the purpose of vexation or delay or for defeating the ends of justice. This is about evidence for defense. Coming to arguments. According to section 234, when the examination of the witnesses for the defense is complete, the prosecutor shall sum up his cases and the accused or his pleader shall be entitled to reply. If any point of law is raised by the accused or his pleader, the prosecution may, with the permission of the judge, make his submissions with regard to such point of law. This is about arguments. Coming to judgment of acquittal or conviction. According to section 235, after hearing arguments and points of law, the judge shall give a judgment in the case. If the accused is convicted, the judge shall, unless he proceeds in accordance with the provisions of section 360, hear the accused on the question of sentence and then pass sentence on him according to law. This is about judgment of acquittal or conviction. Coming to previous conviction, according to section 236, in a case where a previous conviction is charged and the accused does not admit that he has been previously convicted as alleged in the charge, the judge may, after he has convicted the said accused under section 229 or section 235, take evidence in respect of the alleged previous conviction and shall record a finding thereon, provided that no such charge shall be read out by the judge, nor shall the accused be asked to plead thereto, nor shall the previous conviction be referred to by the prosecution or in any evidence adduced by it, unless and until the accused has been convicted under section 229 or section 235. This is about previous conviction. Coming to procedure in cases of defamation of high dignitaries, public servants. According to section 237, a court of session has to adopt a special trial procedure while taking cognizance of an offender under section 199 clause 2. The primary object of section 199 clause 2 is to provide machinery enabling the government to step in to maintain confidence in the purity of administration when high dignitaries and other public servants are wrongly defamed. This is about procedure in cases of defamation of high dignitaries, public servants. This is about trial before court of session, section 225 to 237. After trial before a court of session, section 225 to 237, the next topic is trial of warrant cases by magistrate. Trial of warrant cases by magistrate, sections 238 to 250. Section 238 to 250. Trial of warrant cases by magistrate. According to section 2 of CRPC, warrant case means a case relating to an offence punishable with death, imprisonment for life, or imprisonment for a term exceeding 2 years. The cases tried before a court of session are all warrant cases except the cases of defamation tried under section 237. There are two types of procedures prescribed for the trial of warrant cases by magistrate. Trial of warrant cases instituted on a police report, section 238 to 243. Supply of copies to the accused, section 238. According to section 238, in a warrant case instituted on a police report, the accused appears or is brought before the magistrate. The magistrate has to satisfy himself that he has been supplied the necessary copies of the following documents at free of cost in compliance with section 207. The documents are the police report, the first information report recorded under section 154, the statement of witnesses recorded under section 161 clause 3, the confessions and statements recorded under section 164, etc. If the magistrate is satisfied that any document is voluminous, he shall, instead of furnishing the accused with a copy, direct that he will only be allowed to inspect it either personally or through pleader in court. If the accused is not supplied the necessary copies of the documents, the magistrate should get them supplied and then proceed with the case. This is about supply of copies to the accused, section 238. Coming to discharge of the accused, section 239. According to section 239, the magistrate has to consider the police report and the documents sent with it under section 173, and if necessary has to examine the accused and has to hear the prosecution of the accused, and if on such examination and hearing the magistrate considers the charge to be groundless, he would discharge the accused and record his reasons for doing so. This is about discharge of the accused, section 239. Coming to framing of charges. According to section 240, after consideration, examination and hearing, the magistrate is of opinion that there is ground for presuming that the accused has committed an offence triable and could be adequately punished by him, he shall frame in writing a charge against the accused. The charge shall then be read and explained to the accused, and he shall be asked whether he pleads guilty of the offence charged or claims to be tried. In a case, Kanti Bandra Shah versus State of West Bengal, AIR 2000, Supreme Court case number 522, it was held that for framing of charge, reasons are not necessary to be recorded by trial court, and as such, the order framing charge cannot be scratched. This is the decision given by the Supreme Court in the case Kanti Bandra Shah versus State of West Bengal. In another case, Ashish Chandra versus Asha Kumari, AIR 2012, Supreme Court case number 431, the High Court squashed charge not only against respondent but also against all accused when no such prayer was made. It is held improper because High Court cannot go beyond scope of prayers made by respondent and even squash charges. This is the decision given by the Supreme Court in the case Ashish Chandra versus Asha Kumari. This is about framing of charges, section 240. Coming to conviction on plea of guilty. According to section 241, if the accused pleads guilty, the magistrate shall record the plea and may in his discretion convict him. Such plea of guilty must be clear and unambiguous. This is about conviction on plea of guilty, section 241. Coming to evidence for prosecution, section 242. According to section 242, if the accused refuses to plead or does not plead or claims to be tried, or the magistrate does not convict the accused under section 241, the magistrate shall fix a date for the examination of witnesses. The magistrate may issue a summons to any of its witnesses directing him to attend or to produce any document or other thing. On the date so fixed, the magistrate shall produce to take all such evidence as may be produced in support of the prosecution. The magistrate may permit the cross-examination of any witness or recall any witness for further cross-examination. This is about evidence for prosecution, section 242. Coming to evidence for defense. According to section 243, the accused shall then be called upon to enter upon his defense and produce his evidence, and if the accused puts in any written statement, the magistrate shall file it with the record. This is about evidence for defense, section 243. This is about trial of warrant cases by magistrate. Section 238 to 250. Coming to cases instituted otherwise than a police report. Cases instituted otherwise than a police report, section 244 to 247. Cases instituted otherwise than a police report, section 244 to 247. Cases instituted otherwise than a police report, section 244 to 247. According to section 244, the proceeding in a warrant case can be started only when the accused either appears or is brought before the magistrate. Thereafter, the magistrate shall be bound to take all such evidence as the prosecution produces in support of its case. Coming to discharge of accused. According to section 245, after taking all the evidence referred to in section 244, the magistrate considers for reasons to be recorded that case against the accused has been made out which, if unrebutted, would warrant his conviction. The magistrate shall discharge him. The magistrate can discharge the accused if he considers the charge to be groundless. This is about discharge of accused, section 245. Coming to framing of charge, section 246. According to section 246, after taking evidence, if the magistrate is of opinion that there is ground for presuming that the accused has committed an offence triable under this charter, which such magistrate is competent to try and which in his opinion could be adequately punished by him, he shall frame in writing a charge against the accused. The charge shall then be read and explained to the accused, and he shall be asked whether he pleads guilty or has any defense to make. This is about framing of charge, section 246. Coming to evidence for defense, section 247. According to section 247, the accused shall then be called upon to enter upon his defense and produce his defense, and the provisions of section 243 shall apply to the case. This is about evidence for defense, section 247. Coming to acquittal or conviction. According to section 248, after framing charge, if the magistrate finds the accused not guilty, he shall, after hearing the accused on the question of sentence, pass sentence upon him according to law. This is about acquittal or conviction. Coming to absence of complaint. According to section 249, when the proceedings have been instituted upon complaint and on any day fixed for hearing of the case, the complainant is absent, the magistrate may, in his discretion, at any time before the charge has been framed, discharge the accused. This is absence of complainant. Coming to compensation for accusation without reasonable cause. According to section 250, the magistrate is empowered to order to pay compensation to the accused if he is of opinion that there was no reasonable grounds for making the accusation against them or any of them after giving show cause notice. This is compensation for accusation without reasonable cause. This is the end of this lecture. In my next lecture, I want to tell you about trial of summons cases by magistrate, summary trial, and plea bargaining. So, thank you everyone. Have a nice day.